Hello friends! It's been a while since I've made a YouTube video. I do try to be active on here, but life has just gotten away from me lately. I no longer work at my toxic job, so I'm deep in the midst of job hunting, and I've been doing a lot of stuff over on TikTok and some writing projects. I'm working on my second novel, and I've done a few little writing things on Upwork and stuff like that, so that's been really fun. Job hunting not so much, but you know, that's part of life. And today I thought it would be fun to go over some of my favorite kind of old books that are on my shelves. I did a post like this on TikTok a few months ago and people really liked it, but I thought it would be fun to do a YouTube version where I can go deeper and more in depth in the books that I have. I have a lot of old books. Old books are my favorite thing to collect. I just love them, and I will preface this by saying none of these books are valuable. They're not worth anything monetary wise. But I just love them. I love collecting them, and seeing them just makes me so happy, and I don't know, I like giving them a home and looking at them. So let's start going over my collection. We'll start with my favorite book in the collection. This is called Plant Life. I don't know if you can see it, but I believe it was published in the early 1900s. This was given to me as a gift from my boyfriend on our first Christmas together, and it obviously worked because we are still together 5 years later. I love this book. I cherish it so much. It's so beautiful and so meaningful to me that so early on he realized what I love, and he was able to find something that matched that. I love books, I love old books, and at the time I had been really into floral design, and I'd been taking some floral design classes, and so this was just perfect. Sorry, the light has been on and off, so just bear with me. The clouds are just coming and going, so if it's a little too bright in some scenes and too dark in others, that's why. There's also photographs in here. It's just this really neat book about flora, and it's just like an educational science-y book. I really loved the new Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein, and I feel like Mia Goth's character would have loved this book. I know it's not insects, which was her preferred area of science, but it just really reminds me of the books in that movie, and it's just stunning. I love picking it up and looking at it, and the artwork is so beautiful, so I cherish this. I also have this really cool 1930s copy of Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. This is one of my favorite books actually, so when I found this at the thrift store for $2, I knew it was coming home with me. It's illustrated and it's just so beautiful. I think there's illustrations for each chapter, just like little pen drawing type illustrations, and then there's the colorful ones all throughout, and then I'm trying to, yeah, there's like the details, just so beautiful. Again, not really worth anything, not super valuable, but it is worth $1 million to me because it's gorgeous. I also have this copy of The Perilous Journeys of Hercule Poirot by Agatha Christie. There's a few different short stories in here, and it's just got this perfectly worn in feeling to it. It looks great on the shelf. I just love this book. I love it so much. When was this published? I think this set of particular stories was published in the 30s or the 40s. I could be wrong. I can't find an exact date. In the front, it just shows the stories that the books were, or that the short stories were originally published, so I'm not quite sure, but it just has that old book smell to it. It's just perfect. And then this cute little book called Daddy's Girl by L.T. Mead. I found this at a thrift store in Salt Lake and I just thought it was so cute that it had to come home with me. It's got, you know, the prettiest little picture on the front, and I love when there's writing in an old book and you can kind of just feel its history. This belonged to someone named Martha, and I just think that's very sweet. And then there's a little picture of the author, and unfortunately the page has come apart, but what can you do? The book is kind of in a fragile condition, but there are, again, illustrations. They loved a good illustration back in the day. I think this book was published in the 30s. I could be wrong, but it is just the prettiest book on my shelf. I love it. This one, I believe I found at a secondhand bookshop in Provo, Utah. I live in Utah, if you couldn't tell, but where I'm at now doesn't have as much to offer as far as thrifting, so I'm glad that while I was up in the northern part of Utah, I was able to accumulate so many books and add them to my collection and love them and cherish them, and I hope that someday soon I'll be able to add more. I am always on thrift books, kind of looking around, just, you know, taking a peek here and there, but this one is in, honestly, it's in terrible condition. It's not in great shape, but it is so beautiful. I mean, it's just insane. And then it has the gold foil. And then on the inside, there's this little pattern. But it is in very, very delicate state. This is Hood's Poems, published by Worthington Co. And I'm not sure when this one was published, but let me see if I can find the information. Unfortunately, I can't find the publication date in this. It is kind of, like I said, in rough shape, and some of the front pages have been pulled out and they're now sitting in the back, just kind of tucked in, and I just can't find it. But I believe I thrifted this for $1. I know it's in rough shape, so that's a fair price, but it is just so beautiful. I don't even care. I will take care of it and cherish it. At that same secondhand store, I picked up the Saga of Billy the Kid by Walter Burns Noble. I believe I picked these up almost a decade ago. So it's been quite some time that they've been with me, and they were in poor shape when I got them. I swear I didn't do this. And then this one has just this gorgeous scene in the front, and it just has that perfectly worn-in feeling to it. It's so soft and just age-worn and loved. Something that I love about old books is how love-worn they are, and just the marks of time are visible on them. I think that's really beautiful. I know a lot of people like to keep their books in this super pristine state, but I actually don't believe in that. I am a big advocate for, with new books, breaking the spines, wearing them in, pouring your love into them. Books are meant to be read, and I don't believe that we have to, you know, hold them up so prim and proper and keep them in their pristine shape. I think it's okay to put your love into something, and when I'm reading, I am fully immersed in that story, and I don't know, I'm not really too worried about, is this book going to be in perfect condition when I'm done reading it? But that's just me. And I love a pulpy paperback. These are my favorite. If I see these at the thrift store, I'm definitely going to be taking them home. This is The Picture of Dorian Gray, and this was published in the 70s, and it has a really nice big font on the inside, which is great because it hurts my eyes to read a really small font, and I just love it. I don't know. This is the copy that I read. I do read these old copies. I mean, apart from those books that are falling apart, that are not really in a condition to be read, I do read my old copies because, like I said, a book is meant to be read and loved, and that's what it's for. You know, books are resilient, just like we are, and they'll always be here for us. And these old paperbacks are just the perfect books to curl up with. I love them so much. And this was actually a recent find. This is Jamaica Inn by Daphne du Maurier. I am obsessed with this book. This pulpy 1970s edition is absolute perfection. I found this on thriftbooks.com and I had to have it. I just sat in anticipation, checking the mail, checking the shipping, waiting for it to arrive. And as soon as I got it, I read it. I fell in love with this story. I already loved Rebecca and I knew I wanted to read more by du Maurier, so this was just perfection. This book is so gothic and so atmospheric. She just is like a master at writing atmosphere, and this pulpy little paperback just put me right in the mood for Gothic Girl Winter. I am obsessed with this copy. I just pick it up sometimes and just stare at it. I love it so much. I also have this little pulpy copy of some short stories by Anton Chekhov. I've read them all over the years. I've had this for, I don't know, maybe 15 years. I thrifted it like right after I graduated high school, and it's been with me ever since. And it is just the cutest little book ever. I love, love, love the art on it, and it's just perfection. I also have this first edition paperback of The Shining, and it has this unique silver cover. You don't really see a lot like this. It is a little faded with time, but I found this at the thrift store for like 99 cents. And I knew it was coming home with me. I do love Stephen King. I don't always love his depictions of how he writes women, or, you know, I think he tries his best, but doesn't always get there for me. But I do enjoy much of his work, and The Shining is my favorite movie. So when I finally got the chance to read the book, I was really excited, and I did read this copy, and it's just so cool. It's cool that I found a first edition paperback just at my local thrift store for less than $1. And in that same vein, I have Carrie by Stephen King. This is also a first edition paperback, and it's worse for wear than the other one. I haven't read this one yet, but that's the thing about these books, is they will be there for us when we're ready for them, and I think that's very beautiful, and I cannot wait to read this eventually. I have way too many other books that are taking precedence right now. Again, with the pulpy covers, I think this is actually one that my boyfriend thrifted, but I see it on the shelf all the time. I haven't read this yet. White Fang by Jack London. This cover is just insane. It's to die for. I love it so much. And this is kind of a weird one. This one actually gets me really excited to talk about, because this copy of Crime and Punishment is actually a gift edition. It was sent out to doctors' offices from a pharmaceutical company called Shirlene Corporation, the makers of Etrifon, as you can see on the back here. And it did just undergo some surgery. I had to tape up the spine because it had a little accident. But like I said, we read our books around here. They don't sit and collect dust. They have a purpose, and that's to be read and loved. But right here it says Dear Doctor, and then there's a little blank spot so that you can fill it out and send it as a gift. This was published in the 70s, so it is just that perfect 1970s pulpy paperback that I just adore. The writing in it was really tiny. It did hurt my eyes, but when I read Crime and Punishment, this is the copy that I read, and I just think it's the coolest thing. I also have this paperback. I don't think it's very old. It's probably, I don't know, 90s, maybe 80s. Looks like it belonged to someone named Jim. I didn't even notice that. But this copy of David Copperfield, and I haven't seen a version of it that has this artwork on it, and I just think it's so cute. I also have Life on the Mississippi by Mark Twain, and I think this copy is really pretty. I haven't read this yet, but I just think that looks really nice. The old covers are just superior. I have this copy of The Sound and the Fury that is also just a nice little pulpy, clean, classic cover. I just think it just looks so pretty. Like that just looks great to me. This one might not look that special, but it's very special to me, and that's just a testament that like books hold so much meaning to the individual, to the reader, and Wuthering Heights is one of my favorite books ever. It is the first book that got me into classics. I think I read this when I was 16 for the first time. This is the copy that I read, and I had asked my parents to buy this for me. I think it was a secondhand situation. It was either from eBay or I'm not really sure what the other thrifted, like the other secondhand websites were at the time, because I think this would have been like 2008, but I just wanted to read it so bad. I don't even know where I heard about Wuthering Heights, but I just knew I wanted to read it. And so I begged for a copy of it and bought me this copy, and I read it and I loved it and I cherished it, and then it made me a lifelong classics lover. And this copy is so beat up. It is taped together, and you can just tell it's been very loved by myself and pre-loved as well, which makes it extra special. It's like I hold this bond with someone I've never even met, maybe multiple people, I have no idea, but we both loved this book and had it in our possession at different times. I don't know, maybe I'm just romanticizing having a book, but I think that's really beautiful. So this one will always be with me. And then I found its match. This is Jane Eyre in the same style. It's these little Bantam classics that I just think are incredible. I love them. So when I saw this, I knew I had to take it home. But this is actually my favorite copy of Jane Eyre. I think I've never seen anyone else with this. It's got that like perfect purple color, and I just think that is so stunning. So anytime I want to read Jane Eyre, I grab this copy because it's so floppy. It's just like the perfect floppy paperback, which is just the superior type of book. I am not a hardcover person. Truly, I love a big floppy paperback. This one's not old, but it's another one of those Bantam classics, The Three Musketeers, which I'm hoping to prioritize and read this year. It's been on my shelf forever, so I'm hoping I'll get around to it, but I just think these look so beautiful and I want more. I want to collect all of them, but so far I've just found these three. If you find any of these, let me know. I mean it. And the last one is another one that I cherish. I got this at the same time as the Wuthering Heights book. I had learned about E.E. Cummings in my English class, and I was obsessed with the idea of this poet who changed his initials to all be lowercase and wrote all these beautiful romantic poems of springtime and sunshine, and I was really romanticizing things in that era of my life, probably because I was a hormonal teenager, but I loved this book so much, and so I still have it. It is held together by tape, and you can just see how much I loved it. There's so many little dog-eared pages, and I'll still pick this up every now and again and look through it, but it's just very special to me because it was special to me at a time where I really needed literature. I was going through a really hard time in high school, and books always consoled me. I've been a big reader my whole life, but high school is really when I got into classics and started learning what kind of reader I was going to be for the rest of my life. And so these books, I just cherish them so much. And that is what I think is so great about books, is we can literally wear our love right into them. And the time that they've been with us is reflected on the pages. I don't want a book that's perfectly pristine and super pretty and in perfect condition. I want a book that shows how much I loved it. And if it's not in that condition, I probably didn't like it that much. It's kind of how I think about it. But yeah, I just thought it would be fun to show my old books. I've been collecting them for so long, and I really hope to grow my collection with time. Things are kind of up in the air right now. We might move eventually, and I'm hopeful that someday we'll have our forever home where I can have a permanent spot on the shelf for all of these and keep growing my collection. But yeah, let me know if you collect old books too and where you find them, like where you have the most luck finding them. I usually just go to the local thrift stores or, you know, peruse the internet, but it is a passion. So anyway, I just wanted to get on here, and hopefully I will be more consistent and make some more vlogs and things like that. So, you know, let me know if you're liking these videos, if you want me to keep posting more, and like what kinds of videos you're interested in. Okay, bye!